Traeger here. We just finished up with your high school age checkup, and this little video is meant for you guys, actually. We have another video that is geared more towards your parents, and actually we talk about the same things. I just had a couple little different things that I wanted to say to you guys. So if you are watching this, great, I'm glad you are. And hopefully, you feel comfortable asking us questions, talking to us about different things, and if things come up or you have questions, please understand that we really are there for you. So if something's hurting you, bothering you, talk to your folks, have them bring you in or call the office, things like that. It's interesting, the law in Illinois says that when you're a teenager like this, then you are kind of in charge of your healthcare as well. So if there's something that's bothering you, let us know. And then also when it comes to like confidentiality, there's some things that that we're going to ask you about, and maybe you'll answer and maybe you'll want to talk about. But if you have concerns about something, you're worried about something, let us know. And if you ask us to keep it quiet, then the rule is yes, we do that. However, if you say something like, I'm going to hurt myself or I want to hurt somebody else, basically anything that's dangerous, then we would have to talk to your folks about it. But a lot of times if there is something else going on and you want help talking to your parents about it, we'd be happy to do that with you too. So sometimes people say, you know what, I am in a pretty serious relationship right now, and I would like some help explaining to my parents, what's going on with me. Those are all things that we'd be happy to do with you. So yeah, so let us know. We'd be happy to help with anything. Okay, so now that you are a teenager, you are pretty much responsible for feeding yourself. So try and be careful about what you're putting in your body. A lot of you guys are still growing at this point. So the better you take care of yourself now, the taller, more muscular, things like that you're going to be. So stay off the junk foods. Everybody knows exactly what we're talking about. When people are like, oh, flaming hot Cheetos all the time, it's like, no, those things aren't good for you. So things in moderation are perfectly fine. But one thing that's really interesting that I have found over the past, 10 something years is the number of folks that come in, like you guys, and are concerned about this diet or this thing that you've seen, people wanting to go keto or people wanting to eat clean or things like that. And fancy diets and things like that are generally not needed. Now, when we're in the office, we'll talk about, are you overweight? Are you underweight? How are things going? And if you have questions about things, let us know. And if you feel like you're overweight, let's talk about it. If you feel like you're underweight, let's talk about things that we can do to help you with that. But generally, we don't want you, pounding the protein shakes and things like that, trying to gain weight or gain muscle or things like that. If you are overweight, we have good, safe ways of helping you do that. But generally, it's reducing your calories and increasing your activity. So, but there's little things that are going to come up and you're going to have questions about. I love answering questions about this. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. So if you have questions about working out or anything like that, let me know. And if you want help getting a workout plan or something like that, we have great resources. We really, really do. There's some good things out there, even things you can do at home on YouTube and stuff like that. So yeah, throw that out, just throwing that out there. Cool. So when you are your age now, make sure you're drinking plenty of water. You do not need to drink all the calories. So if you're a milk drinker, if you're a Mountain Dew drinker, if you're a Starbucks Frappuccino, or a regular fat vanilla latte Starbucks kind of guy, you don't need the extra calories that are in there. So be careful. Remember, one of those big drinks that you guys get from Starbucks that costs like $7, that's as many calories as a Big Mac and a meal at McDonald's. So if you're having your regular meal and then you're pounding those things, dude, you're going to gain weight if you're not careful. So just kind of watch out for it. Make sure you're fueling your body the right way. Also be active, and I tell you, and in the parent video, I mentioned this too, 60 minutes of activity a day is what I'd like you to do. Dude, I bet you the vast majority of your folks are not that active, or not 60 minutes active a day. So try and rope them into it. Your parents most of the time will say yes. If you say, hey, let's go for a walk, or hey, I'm trying to get into this hobby or biking or something like that. So reach out to them, reach out with friends, be active, get your heart rate up a little bit. There's some good, you don't have to be a professional athlete or train like one, but there are some good things you can do so that you're taking care of your body and stuff like that. When it comes to sleeping, okay, so yeah, you should be sleeping. You shouldn't be tired throughout the day, okay? You should not be, sleeping all day long, taking naps throughout the day and stuff like that. What's a good bedtime for you? You know what? A lot of guys your age are going to say, 9, 10 o'clock, it's a pretty good bedtime because you're waking up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning to go to school and stuff like that. If you're having a hard time waking up in the morning, well, then maybe you need to go to bed earlier. And if you're having a hard time, falling asleep at night, maybe you need to work on the routine, okay? Get off your phone, get off the technology, get off the screen, things like that. And try and get into a little bit of a good habit. Being a good sleeper is a very difficult thing for some people to do, but practice, consistency, those things are really important at this point. So if you're having a hard time sleeping, let us know. We got some tips for you, and maybe there's something medical going on that we can talk about as well. All right, so those are the kind of housekeeping things here. So now here's some of the more, different things. Okay, the first thing is that, now that you're a teenager, you're gonna have conflict, you're gonna have difficulty with your parents, with friends, with siblings, all kinds of things like that. So conflict resolution is something that we would like you to, as a skill, we'd like you to learn how to develop it. We'd like for you to be able to learn how to talk to your parents or other people respectfully, so that way if you're having problems, you can get it out there, okay, and learn how to solve it. Yeah, your parents are going to be hard. Your friends are going to be hard sometimes. Teachers, they're going to have unnecessary expectations that you feel sometimes. But how you talk to them and how you learn how to address them to get your point across is the skill. You have to learn how to do it. Same thing if you're working at McDonald's, there's a way you ask, hey, do you want fries with that? You just don't say, no, I can't, that's a bad example. I can't even think of something like that right now. But it's something that we would like you to learn how to do. If you have questions about that, let us know. We actually have great counselors, things like that, that can help you develop those skills. So if you're coming to us and you're saying, dude, my parents are just ragging on me about this, we've got some ideas on how to help you learn how to navigate that. Or you got a bad friend or something that's going on there. We have ways of helping with those things. Because a lot of times, your friends, people that you interact with, teachers, a lot of you guys are okay with them, but when it comes to your parents, there's something about it that just kind of, grinds on you a little bit. And the way you interact with your family is a really big deal because they're your family. They're your family. We want you to treat them with respect as well. Cool. All right. So yeah, so think about that. The other thing is too, when it comes to friends, make sure you're choosing your friends wisely. If your parents haven't said this to you, I will, the people you hang out with, your friends determine your trajectory in life. If you got a bunch of friends that aren't the best for you, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, I believe you do, then you need to get away from that because they're going to bring you down. Okay. At the same time, we want you to be friendly to everybody. There's no reason for you to be that guy or gal who has got a chip on your shoulder or rude or things like that. So just be nice to people as much as you can, because friends are, kind of help shape you and who you're going to be as you get older. When it comes to boyfriends, girlfriends, and things like that, try and set some boundaries. If you're not wanting to have sex, if you're not wanting to get pregnant, you're not wanting to get infections and stuff like that, set some clear boundaries on this. That's what I'd like you to do. Okay, I would like you to abstain from having sex because we know that the consequences of babies and infections and things like that are real. And even the whole the mood thing about this. I mean, the number of folks who get into sexual relationships before they're emotionally ready for it, it really messes with you, okay? And a lot of these girls too, they'll tell you, they'll say, when I started doing that, I felt like my mood went down. And this is, them reflecting back on life as they get older and stuff like that. You have a baby when you're 17, I mean, that changes everything a lot too. So just be really careful with that stuff. And if you have questions about it, we're not gonna judge you, we're not gonna give you a hard time about it, but talk to us, let us know. And then also keep in mind that infections are real, okay? It sounds like it's like a big city kind of thing, but the number of folks here in this town that are your age that do have pretty serious infections is high. It really, really is. So just be smart. Condoms every time. You have questions about that stuff, let me know. We'd be happy to talk with you in a non-judgmental or irritating kind of way. Also, talk to your parents about that. If you haven't had that discussion with your folks where you've said, hey, look, I think I'm ready to have sex, or I think I'm ready. What do you think? Talk to them about that stuff. You'll blow their mind. You really will. Okay, but it's nice to kind of just talk with them about it, because I think that more than anything, they want what's best for you, and they'll help you learn from their mistakes that they've made as they were growing up. But one thing that's important about sex, we talk about setting boundaries and stuff, is that when you say no, you got to mean it, okay? And the person that you're with has got to accept that as well. The number of folks that we've talked to that have come in and they said, oh yeah, I've had sex now, or we're doing that, and I'll ask you, I'll say, hey, look, did you want to do this? Because I remember in the past you said not, or things like that. And people will say, well, I didn't really want to, but my girlfriend really wanted to, and we did. But it's like, well, dude, if you said no and it happened, that's called rape, okay? So just be smart, please, okay? So that's good. Also, when it comes to drugs, there's no reason for this stuff, okay? If you're smoking, vaping, things like that, I almost think it's more of a meme out there or something like that. Everyone's like, oh, now you're smoking or something. It's just, there's just no place for that stuff. So stay off the drugs, stay off the smokes, and alcohol, stuff like that too. You don't need to get in trouble. You don't need to have an accident. You don't need to totally change your life because of those things. The bottom line is it's not cool. It's just not cool. So maybe you'll think I'm a prude for saying that, but it's true. It's true. It's just true. Okay, and then now that you are a teenager and transitioning to adulthood and stuff like that, if you want to get a job, yeah, I think that's great. It's kind of nice to have some responsibility. If you're able to do that, having some cash in your pocket, that's a great thing to do too. Having a job kind of like organizes you a little bit. So you have to be able to say, oh, I have to make it here for work on time and things like that. Playing sports also has that effect too, where you can, where you have to schedule your day. It helps with your studies and things like that too. But taking responsibility for your actions and taking responsibilities for schoolwork and stuff is a really big deal at this age. So you want more responsibility around the house? You want some more freedoms and stuff like that? Yeah, show us that you're kicking butt when it comes to schoolwork, and that you're doing great with sports and you're getting everything done and you're not having to be harassed. That's how you get trust from your parents. So do that. That's pretty good. And the people you hang around with, it's kind of a big deal too. I forgot to mention this back a little bit ago, but when we talk about taking responsibility for your actions, taking responsibility for the things that you've done, one thing that you can do is use your parents or your coach or whatever as an accountability partner with your friends or something like that. So if something's happening or you're doing something that you shouldn't be, tell your friends, say, hey guys, look, if we do this, or if I drink, or if I smoke, if I do something like that, my coach is going to kill me, or I'm not going to get into college because of this, or I'm worried about, my parents killing me or something like that. Tell them that. Let them be the bad guy. That way they can take the heat off of you. And then if they don't back down, well, then they probably aren't the kind of friends you should be hanging around with. At the same time, have an agreement with your parents where you can say, hey, Dad, if I'm ever in trouble, I want to be able to call you and you come and save me, no questions asked, and don't give me a hard time about it, no matter how stupid it was. There may be consequences for your actions, but it's nice to be able to know that they've got your back and they can save you if there's an issue. Does that make sense? So think about that, okay? Just think about that and have that conversation with your folks. Cool. Also, one other thing I'd like you to talk with your folks about is talk to them about your mood, okay? So if you feel like your mood is slipping, if you feel like you're anxious or sad or things like that, man, or like you feel like you're walking on eggshells around everybody, or they have to walk around you like on eggshells or something like that, dude, talk to us, talk to them about it, okay? Because we do have some good options for therapy and for medicines and all kinds of things like that. It really makes me sad when I see, on you guys' little forms that you fill out, there's a question on there, maybe you remember where it says, more than half the time I felt like I was sad or depressed. People that answer that, yes, and then I say, hey, how's your mood doing? And then they're like, nothing, no, it's fine. Dude, no, we have options for that. So talk with us about it. And when we talk about therapy, I think it's funny. I think people think that we're gonna like sit you on a couch and lay you back and say, okay, tell me about your mother. No, that's not the way therapy goes. The way therapy normally goes is, hey, I'm having this problem, help me deal with it so that I can take that load off of me. And then when it happens, you have a strategy on how to help with it, with the conflict with friends or your parents or things like that. So that's out there. So it's something to throw out there too. All right, and then the last thing is be safe. When we talk about kids that get hurt, car accidents, things like that in general are a really bad way of being hurt at your age. So just make sure that you're being safe about things. Wear your helmet when you ride a bike or a scooter or hoverboard, things like that. I know it's not cool, but it is. Okay, it really is. When you're driving, wear your seatbelt. Try not to drive recklessly, because you're just going to get yourself in a whole lot of issues with that. So those are the things that basically we would like you to be able to pay attention to and kind of talk about during your high school age. So let me know, if you have any questions about anything. True story, we mean that, okay? And then the other thing is as you get older, think about college, think about the future and stuff like that. Generally, we'd be very happy to see you all the way through college, unless you're doing something like getting people pregnant or doing drugs and stuff like that. Then maybe we need to say maybe you need to find an adult doctor. But for the most of you guys, no, that's not an issue, okay? And just let us know if you need anything, okay? All right, well, you guys have a good day, and we'll talk to you later on.